we get into that a little bit, I thought we would just reflect on kind of some trends that we are seeing as we come out of the recession in Europe and in the US. I know that people in Brazil are on the call and they haven't seen a recession like we did here, ditto for Australia. But we are seeing some trends, I think, and they're probably every country in the world at some time, I guess, is going to have a recession. So they're kind of worth thinking about. One, strategy is having to be rethought. We are seeing, I would say, organizational strategies all over the place in terms of change. We are seeing organizations that prospered during the recession now trying to cut costs and realign their businesses. I think they were having such a good time in the recession that they kind of, in some ways, took their eye off that particular ball. We're seeing wholesale changes in the way in which marketplaces change. As some of you know, we operate heavily in the pharma market. And there we're seeing the companies that we deal with there really having to get to grips with the things like the end of, the decline really of big pharma in a sense. The big blockbuster drugs are going away. You're seeing much more centralized buying in many countries of the world. So people are having to really rethink their strategies. Second thing we're seeing is many people, not just our clients, but people who are beginning to talk to us now, and we're getting a lot of new business actually, uniformly pretty much report that during the recession they were seeing very low employee engagement levels. That for whatever reason, people found that their employee surveys were showing people less engaged in change. Now there is one reason for that, which we've seen historically over the last 30 years, which is that generally people's well-being in companies, or their feeling of well-being and engagement, are directly related to the economic success of the enterprise. So there may be some kind of connection there. Third trend we're seeing is really return of business leaders to trying to build internal change capabilities. We probably have 3 or 4 or 5 major projects underway at the moment since January. I think for many companies, they took their eye off the change management fall during recession. People believe in recession you can just tell employees to do something. You don't need to actually help them, you need to change. As we saw from the low engagement in change, that has a kind of negative impact. But out of that, we are seeing people coming back and saying, look, we've really got to build some considerable capabilities in this area. And that's so. Fourth one is related to that. We're really pleased that companies are now beginning to want to spend money in this area. It's a source of much delight to us. But I do think people are now getting a little bit less concerned about cost constraints and probably more concerned about value for money, business outcomes from their investment. So 4 kind of changes we're seeing there.